Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to what is probably going to be probably the last video of 2023. And what a year it has been. I feel like I can breathe a bit now, for now. First of all, I want to kickstart this video quickly off by saying thank you to everyone that supported me over the last few years. Been loads of ups and downs. I've been trying loads of different things. And I'm hoping in the new year I can kind of find some rhythm and get back into getting these builds done. Now, I've certainly been putting things in the background in place to make sure that this happens. So, first of all, we've got this beautiful little place. So this is mainly obviously where we're going to store cars, but I do think we're not going to be doing a lot more work in here soon. That'll come in another video. No, we don't need to get into that yet. Okay, we don't. Let's just leave that there. Right, so in this video, I wanted to just have a recap of all the projects. As the title suggests, a rundown of the projects that are involved with Simpsons Classics. And where we're at with everything now. So in this video I'll be covering just my personal cars. So we do have things like the Mini Mayfair and the Mini Sports Pack with us. Not to mention Matt's got his Resto Mod Cooper that he is working out plans with, that's obviously back at his now. So there's been quite a few cars that have been involved in the channel, and I thought it'd be nice to run down of what's happened to them, where we're going with them, what the plans are, if they're staying, if they're going, whatnot. So we're going to kickstart off with the oldest and the coolest car that I think I own or will ever own, and that is the Volvo Amazon. So let's just cut back to the HQ. Here's the Volvo Amazon. So let's kickstart this off with the Volvo Amazon. So this is the oldest car in the fleet. This is a 1964 car, and I've just been carrying it around for 2 years really, where it's gone from unit to unit. I do plan to hit this quite hard, especially in the new year. My goal is currently in my head is to get it like solid, so do the seals, do the repairs it needs. Or a quick whip around very quickly now. I just want to cover all these cars quickly, get the welding done, and obviously we've touched base on the engine now. So in the new year I'm going to give the block to a machine shop along with the head and the crank and stuff like that, and we'll make a game plan for that. But obviously I'll keep you all in touch with what's going on with there. But I'll show you what I mean by the rust. So obviously there's a wing missing. The wing is solid and it's going to go back on. I've just got to do this inner wing repair, a bit like what we've done on this side. So that's all new on that side, and the wing's back on. My current plan is, I think I'll see how I feel. I might keep the patina for a little while because it is really solid. It's just got like little blisters on it, but I don't know. There's a part of me that wants a really nice shiny Amazon. Obviously the wheel arch we need to deal with, and these lower panels, but there's no welding or anything in the boot that I found. It's all just currently full of parts and stuff like that. So that is the goal for the Volvo Amazon. So it's a quick rundown. I think ideally I'd like it to be nice and shiny, but I think I just want to drive it now, so we will see. We will see what we can do. Just before we leave the Volvo Amazon and we go on to the rest of the fleet, we're kind of working date order a little bit. This will probably be moving again from here. So yeah, stay tuned for the new year, guys. But I'm very excited with this car. Once I've cleared the 2 minis for James and Pete, I really want to try and hit this a little bit hard because I really want to drive it. So that's the Volvo Amazon, the 64 barn find Volvo Amazon that's been off the road since 1978. Will it see the road in 2024? Who knows? Make sure you subscribe to find out, guys. Right, let's get on to the next car. So there's the Volvo Amazon, and here is the next oldest car in the fleet. This is the 1972 Codman Estate. Not for everyone, I will admit. It does get some comments. However, it is probably the most liked on Instagram, liked at shows vehicle I have ever owned, purely because it has a story to tell. Now, I won't go straight into the story now, because if you haven't already, there's a big playlist on this car and I go through why it looks like this and what I've done to it and what my plans are. But one thing I will say about this car straight off the bat, it's going to be on display at Bingley Hall in January. So I think it's 28th of January. We're going to be over near the Minimine stand like we were last year with the mini sidewalk, but we're going to be bringing this one this time. I feel like it's nice to have this indoors. It doesn't get used a lot, and I want to use it a lot more in 2024, so let's just kickstart the year. Biggest show of the year in my eyes. let's get this car on display and let's go and have a look at it. So I will put a write up in the window if you haven't got the videos, but please go check them out because it does explain everything. So what's the plans for this car? Is it staying? Is it going? I think from what you've just said there, it's obviously staying. I don't ever intend to sell this car. I kind of bought this car as a bit of an interim while the 89 was done, so this was like an in-between car for us. I knew I'd keep it. I don't know I wasn't kidding anyone else, was I? I was going to keep this car. It's an early club estate, it's 1972, so I really wanted one. This is my 4th estate I owned. I wanted one with the wood panelling on the side, or fake BL wood panelling. And I got it. So let's just take a quick walk around, explain, number 1, obviously it's staying, and number 2, what we're going to do with it. So here it is in all its glory. Warts and all, literally, warts and all. Good old solid thing though. It may not look it, but it is a very, very solid little car, this. So plans for it really. We've got some engine stuff that we need to be doing. You know that the car's been off the channel a little bit because of engine problems. I am thinking about swapping tyres out. It's got Falcons on the front, which are getting a bit old because it does stand. And then it has got some old really cool Dunlops on the back, but again, they don't match. There's matching pairs, but they don't match. So I'm really thinking of some nice period correct tyres just to give it a bit of a refresh for the year. What we're going to do is we're going to give it a good clean and polish. Yes, we're going to polish it. And then we're going to have it at Bingley Hall. So this car really is staying in the fleet. It's got some engine work to be done. There's some cosmetic to be done in the sense that all these windows need to come out of here. I'm really hoping I get them done before Bingley, but recent events in my life don't think I will now. But I will get it done. I can get them ordered up through Minimine and we'll get them in. This is probably the worst part of the car, and I do think when this comes out, this is going to need some attention. So, like mentioned, things will change a little bit on the channel. I said I wouldn't weld in here. We might have to. But obviously, I'll take precautions and I'll make sure everything's safe, and I'm not stupid. You always do a half-hour fire check. This is fully equipped with fire extinguishers. The reason I originally said I didn't want to weld in here was purely because I wanted it to be a nice clean space, and the roof is made of wood. However, quite a lot of workshops are made of wood. In this case, being sensible, I've got fire blankets, I've got fire screens and stuff like that. And I'm not an idiot. I've done this for many years now. You do fire watch and stuff after you have a brew or something, half an hour after you pack your tools up. You make sure everything's okay. All the cars I'm welding up on always strip shelves, so nothing really catches fire. So it's your surroundings you need to watch, really. So we'll be doing a bit of work on this car, but I'll touch on that in a future episode. So we want to sort this out around the back end. I am thinking of putting a new exhaust system on it because this one is a little bit past it, but for now it's safe, it drives, it's all legal and stuff like that. So I'm really happy with it. So that is the 72 Clobman estate. Stay tuned for 2024, guys. People that love this car, come say hi at Bingley Hall. I'm hoping to have a bit more merch. We'll touch on that at the end of the video. A bit more merch, and I'll be there with the car and we can have a proper chat, and it'd be nice to catch up with a load of people like I did last year. So, or this year. Right, next car in the fleet. Can anyone guess the next oldest car in the fleet? Here we go. Right, so the next oldest one is the 1980 Minivan. So I have to admit, as a kid growing up, there's a few cars I've wanted to own. There was the two that stood out to me a lot as a kid was the Amazon and one of these, a minivan. So ideally, I'd like to an earlier minivan, but this one came up and I fell in love with the colour. And I don't tend to keep this car standard, so it's a bit better to do what I want to do to a later car than an earlier car. Plus it's like a rod change, which is what I wanted, and things like that. So this car, my goal with this minivan in the new year is I want to be trying to drop onto this car, and then when I say dropping onto it, starting to strip it, and then getting on with the first repair, which is round the back, which I'll show you in a second. I want to be stripping this car by Easter. Yeah, Easter. I want to be stripping the minivan by Easter, and I'm not going to say it's going to be done anytime soon because life throws you curveballs, but I have to get my head into this car. I have to get started with it. I really, really want to get this done. My goal is to have it done for the British IMM. Might be doable. It all depends how it looks when we get stuck in there. The boxes of stuff behind you, there's loads of parts kicking around for this van already. There's an engine sat there for it, which just needs a refresh and stuff like that. So the first job of this car will be to strip it, and the next job will be this. Once it's stripped, this will be my first job. I want to tackle this. I've got a body cut of another car, and what we're going to do first is we'll get rid of the skin part, where you can see I've marked it off here. and then we're going to get in and see if the frame's any good. If the frame's good, we'll weld the corner up here of the frame, repair it with that body cut. If it all is a bit toast, I can just cut the whole lot out, inner and outer, and put a piece in, which is what I plan to do. Everyone's told me that I could just change the whole roof. Yeah, I could, but the rest of it is absolutely solid and lovely. It's got the roof vent which was fitted to this vehicle from new, and on the roof, I don't know if you can see them anywhere, you can just see them there. There's two little rivets in the roof. This is where it had a sign on the roof, so I haven't got any proof of it, but the colour, that sign, the layout of it is showing it could be potentially a Southern Electricity van. It's the right year for that, that's for sure. So I want to keep that as part of its history, and being a commercial vehicle, I don't think they should be perfect. They're a commercial vehicle, so I want to keep some of its character, if you know what I mean, but obviously it does need a full resto and a full repaint. So that is the 1980 minivan. You'll be all pleased to know we should in theory be seeing that one a little bit more. That's if I don't buy any more projects. The next oldest one in the fleet is Mrs. S's 89. So let's get stuck into that one. The 89. Right, the 89. This is Mrs. S's little baby. It's her first car. And it has really been through the wars, this car. This car is, I felt like I have dragged this car around for quite a few years. Now, I get some comments on the channel saying this has taken far too long, just finish a car. You have to remember some of the projects on the channel aren't mine, so I don't necessarily fund them. That being said, it is my wife's car, obviously, so I have prioritised trying to get it to the point it's at now, which I think is a good point for the car. I think it's gonna, yeah. I really wanted this painted this year. That was one thing in my head when I started this 2023. I wanted to have this car painted. I wanted to be putting it together over the Christmas period, having a bit of couple time, you know, building it back up, do a big parts order through Minimine, and yeah, start putting it together. It's just not worked out like that. That being said, when I said I was making some plans behind the scenes, there's a plan. So you will see this car painted in 2024, and if all being well, plans go right, quite early on in 2024. So the vehicle is at a point now where it's in its high build primer. It's going to probably need a reprime. The doors and the boot need a lot of more work. I'm not happy with them at all. The inside's done. We're just going to carpet that anyway, so I'm not bothered with sounding. And the engine bay's done. You can have an engine in it. It'll be good enough for me. But we're going to hand it over to someone that's a hell of a lot more skilled than me. Produces some beautiful cars that I've followed from, I can't remember. I followed them for such a long time. Since they've had their channel, I must have followed them. I found them straight quite early on, and I've loved their work. They're an amazing couple, and the business and the work they run, the work they do. So the work they do and the business they run is just, it's amazing. And we're gonna have a slice of that. And I'm hoping I'm gonna learn a little bit along the way as well. I'm not gonna say too much, but there is a collaboration with another YouTuber, and that's where I'll leave it. And don't think I'm just hand it over, kick it aside, and you know, we're gonna see this car done on Simpsons Classics. I'm gonna hopefully be a big part of this final stage of this car of getting it painted. So there is quite a big plan in the motion for this one, guys. You should be quite pleased to know. I'm very excited. Obviously, Mrs. S is very excited. We can really start putting it back together then and being a bit more part of our lives and getting this car. I wouldn't say we're going to get it on the road by the end of the year. We've got quite a big year next year. But if it's painted and we can start putting it together, half the stuff can come off these shelves. We can start getting it built up and really looking for the future for it. But yeah, I'm really happy. So the 89, yeah, it's 2024 is the year for this one. Apologies, they're so tightly grouped together. It's mainly so we can walk around while we're putting stuff away. But this car now, once it is at this point where it's in paint, obviously we can start putting it together and really enjoying it. So that's the 89. What a thing. Coming for you, Gary, in 2024. I'm excited as well because it ends that chapter a little bit. Yeah. Right. Next car is, drum roll, the main car of the channel. If you don't know what this car is, who this car is, because all my cars are named, if you don't name cars, you're monsters. You have to name cars. They're part of your life, well they should be, or they're a part of your life as in they get you to work. You should have something to call it when it lets you down. So this is Violet, the 1995, so the next oldest car, quite a new car really, in the fleet. This is a 1995 mini sidewalk, 1 of 1,000 made, Kingfisher blue with the tartan interior. You must all know this car now on the channel. If you haven't already, if you're new, please go check out the playlist. There's a lovely playlist on this car with bits we've been doing over the years. We haven't really done a lot to it, purely because I've kind of always needed it. I've needed it to be on the road, and more recently, I've actually needed it to be my daily car quite a lot. So I have really relied on this car. And the old girl, I have to admit, has had a really good year reliability-wise. We've had absolutely no issues. If you remember back when we first got the barn, well, not when we first got it, but the first Christmas we had in the barn, I did a bit of TLC to the back. It needed a bit of work, needed a bit of welding. I haven't done a full resto of this car ever. It's never had a full restoration. It's had a few panels, but it's never had a full restoration like nut and bolt like the 89 and stuff like that. One day the time will come, but we're plans for it really in the next year. We are planning Germany, all being well, time off, and I can get the jobs done. We'll be taking this car. If not, we do have another Mini to lean on. It's a new Mini, obviously. We do have another car to lean on, or we might. Yeah, we could take that. No, this is the car I want to take to Germany. I've always wanted to do a really good road trip with it. You will probably know, if you're eagle eye and you follow me on Instagram, the overriders have gone missing. I took the plaque off, because I always take the plaque off at the end of the year. Yeah, the overriders are gone. There's a lot I want to do to this car, but it really does hinder of having a respray. So, and as long as it's taken me to paint the car so far, we're not going to be pushing this one yet. This one needs to be on the road. So bodywork wise on it, it's solid enough. It's got a few issues, and in artificial light you really do see it. There's like crazing in the paint. You can't really can't see it. This camera's not helping. But there's a bit of rust going through there. The same on the back panel. And people that have seen it at shows will know it needs an A panel and things like that, because it really is starting to bubble away. That is the original A panel from 1995, so we can't really have a go at it. But plans are, like I say, I've got quite a bit of stuff on the footwell in that car. Kind of see loads of, is it open? No, it's locked. There's loads of bits on the floor in there. I've been collecting stuff for it, so I want to do like a suspension overhaul at the front. We've got some really cool Japanese ball joints, which I'll try and do a bit of a review on. We're going to fit those just purely because I'm absolutely sick of shimming ball joints every year. It doesn't matter what supplier you get them from. I just don't think they're that great. I do think if you use your car a lot, let's just spend the money and get something really good. And these Japanese ones that are no maintenance basically, I thought were a bit of a gimmick, so I kind of left it. Hoped the price would come down. They haven't. And loads of people have used them, and quite a lot of my friends that do long haul runs have got them, and I thought, well, I'll let them use them and just see how they get on and get a bit of a review from that. They've all sung their praises really highly, so I'll be swapping them out. I've got a couple of CV joints because I think the drivers want to click in, so we'll renew that. Check this and pads and stuff, but they're relatively new, and we'll just go through it a little bit. So there's a bit of mechanical work, guys, to do on this car, all being well if we get round to it. Bodywork wise, I want to change quite a bit of the car. We won't really get into it now. But yeah, the car needs a full respray. It will stay Kingfisher blue. I'm going to lose the wheel arches off it. And I want it to look like my favourite era of Mini, which is a Mark III. So the styling on the car, like the grille, the little quaint spotlight. These are from like an Innocenti or Innocenti Mini, however you want to pronounce it. Things like that. So I've changed bits on it to make it look earlier. Like obviously it's got the earlier backlights and bits and pieces like that. I want it to look like an earlier, I want it to look like it stepped out of the 70s, but it's got all the 90s running. It's a bit like its own intentional resto mod. It's kind of what I want to do with the car. It's always kind of been the plan, but I've played with styling over the years. You look at other things, you pick up ideas, and I think that's just where the car needs to go. It needs to lose the arches. It needs to be less is more kind of thing, and build the car to what I want. I know I've had it 12 years nearly. I don't intend to sell it, so I don't care the fact that it's a limited edition. Obviously it's a nice thing, but I don't intend to sell it, and everything I'm doing to it I can reverse and put it back if I ever wanted to. I don't intend to change the interior apart from removing the dashboard. So on this car, it's got a wooden dash. Oh, it is unlocked. Obviously the tartan interior is factory. I'm keeping that. But the wooden dash, this is an aftermarket dash, and albeit it's absolutely mint basically, but it's just got a bit warped. They're not very good, and it shouldn't have had it originally. Actually, it should have just had the 2 clocks and then a big opening like it would have had. So I want to put it back to that and go from there. But yeah, this car doesn't sound quite like a Golf, that does it? There we go. This car is obviously never going anywhere, so it's always going to be there in a channel. So I know you guys quite enjoy seeing bits and pieces on it, so we're going to kind of do rolling work on it as and when we get a bit of time. But obviously when that comes back from paint, we'll be building that up. We've got quite a bit of stuff to do, so I want to use that a lot more really than this one in the new year, and we'll go from there. So there is one more car in the fleet, isn't there? Well, there's actually 2 more, but it's never been on the channel, so I'm not going to show that car. That's Mrs. S's daily. We don't need to see that one. But my car, my last car, let's go and have a look and check that one out. So the last car is the newest edition, and that is the D5. We can't do this video outside because it's really windy, but the D5, let's go and chat about it. Sorry guys, I don't know if that was really windy on the camera. I'll find out in a minute when I edit. It was quite windy out there. So the D5 Volvo is the newest addition to the fleet. Let's just pop you guys there. Let's pop there. So the Volvo V70 D5 is the newest addition to the fleet. I've had it 3 months. I don't know what to say. It's a great car. I really genuinely love it. It is such a lovely daily to have. It's never going to be a car I keep long term. It just isn't. It doesn't have the quirks I want from a car, as in it's got no content, has it? Because it's just great, it just works. And I know we all need that in life, but I'm one of them people. I have such a long list, which I wish I could share with you all, but it's so big. The list of cars I want to own, not necessarily keep, but own. And I've had one of them before already, and I knew it was a great car, which is why I bought another one. I basically bought it because I'm doing over 2,500 miles a month, which is quite heavy mileage. It's over 550 miles a week. And I needed a mile muncher, and a mile muncher to that thing is, it tows well, it drives beautifully, it's an automatic, so it just wafts along. It's all kitted out, it's very high spec for what it is. It's got some really cool mods on it. And obviously if you've seen the video, in my eyes it's the last true Volvo. The P2 is a handsome looking car. They really did well with the styling, and it is a really great car. But do I want to keep it long term? No, it never was the case, guys. It wasn't something I ever wanted to keep long term. It got me out of a hole, and I really wanted to buy a good example, so I knew I had a good example, but also when I did come to resell it, it was, you know, resellable. It was a nice thing. It wasn't all damaged and bashed up. In the new year, there's quite a few changes coming to my personal life again, but it should really help the channel as well. So this is one of the changes. I said there's a lot coming, and obviously me and Mrs. S will change our lives quite a bit, so things happen in the background. That car then won't do the mileage it's doing now. Now you could argue that I'd keep it and just look after it and enjoy it, but I don't see the point in having a car that is capable of loads of mileage and not really doing the mileage. It's a lot of car to have just kind of sat about. So obviously you can gather that I've said it a few times, we want to move house and things like that, and the place that we've got lined up currently, it just sits around. It won't do the mileage, and the mileage it will do will be sat in traffic and stuff, you know, like short distance sat in traffic, it won't warm up. Anyone that knows cars knows that's not very good for a car at all, and definitely not good for quite a high powered diesel. So I just don't think I can I can't justify holding on to it, is the best way to describe it. And there's a car that I really wanted way back at the beginning of the year that I said I was aiming towards, and I didn't. I went and did something stupid. What was that? Yeah, what did I do that was stupid at the beginning of the year? Yeah, I bought a Volkswagen T2, didn't I? I wasn't in the best of places, and I'll just touch on this very, very quickly. When I bought that car, it was a car on my massive list of vehicles I wanted to own. I'd wanted one for so long. We're talking 10, 15 years. Ever since I've seen them, I've wanted one. I've been to shows, I've seen them. I've always gone, oh, I'd love one of them. Really, really love one of them one day. And it's just not worked out in the sense that I got one, and I got a really good one. I waited long enough to get a good one, but I think I got it, loved it, it broke straight away. Then I fixed it, then it broke straight away. Then I fixed it, then it broke straight away. And I just felt like it didn't fit. That teamed with obviously what we're doing in the new year, which is moving house. It just didn't have I got it, scratched that itch, and then instantly just hated it in the sense, I don't know how to put it into words really, it just wasn't working. And the cars that are in this building now, they're all here. All of these cars are not selling. They're keepers. They're long-term vehicles. You know what I mean? And I think I just got it. Every time I walked out the house, I loved it. You know, I looked at it going, Mark, you've done that. You know, everyone that knows a Volkswagen Type 2 or bay window split screen or whatever knows they're not cheap. They have a scene tax. And they're also like, they're more than a car. Obviously that was a camper van, fully converted and, you know, registered as a camper van. So I just felt like it was I'd wanted one for so long, and it was a bit of an anticlimax really. And that is kind of why we let it go, for the financial reason, the fact that we're moving and it was a big chunk of wedge of cash back. But also, I just couldn't see me owning it long term, and I didn't want to hold on to it any longer. I just kind of like thought, right, I've had my time. It was only 5-6 months, and in that time I did less than 100, well, I did about 200 miles in it, and that's just not good enough for me in my eyes. It needs to be more than a car, and in my eyes it had the makings of that, but it just wasn't that. So we'll let that go. That's enough of that. So we made some mistakes, didn't we? Mistakes over though, we've had quite a good year. Like I say, we've had some ups and downs, we've bought and sold some cars, and also let's not forget the fact that we've still got the Cooper MPI to finish off and get that ready for paint in the new year. We've got the Mayfair to finish off, get ready for paint in the new year. We've got projects with Matt that once he works out what projects they are, you know what I'm saying, Matt. You know, we'll document them. And we've got, obviously, I'm saving the best for last because they're the coolest cars. We've got Chapman's cars, and he's been awesome with documenting it. I've got some videos to edit on his green Volvo 244, so go and check out Frank, the Rosberg. And also he has another Volvo, which you've seen in the background, another Volvo Amazon, which is a resto mod, which is where you will see Vera crop back up again. So that's one of the lows again for the year really. We bought Vera back and then we lost her, and that was a hard time. Still not really fully properly over it. I mean, I moved on obviously, and I'm in a Volvo again, which I feel safe about, but yeah, it's been some ups and downs, and we've got all them people with other content. So in the new year, I'm going to push hard and get my projects done. We're going to buy other projects. We've just bought a really good trailer, which you would have seen on Instagram. And I've got a tow car, and if I swap that for something else, it'll be another tow car, which gives you a bit of an inkling maybe what I'm looking at buying. But there's a lot going on, and what I wanted to say is, again, thank you. I'm a regular guy. I'm just like everyone else out there. I've got a job, I've got a life, I've got a family, and you have to do what you can do. But I love coming out here and filming for you guys. I love it. It's such a buzz. It gives you such good kind of like inspiration to do things, and like a drive to do things. And obviously recently I've just had to hold my hands up and say things haven't been easy, and we've not achieved what we wanted to achieve, which is life. It is life, it happens. But we have got some good goals for next year. And obviously I'll pick up the camera as soon as I can in the new year, and we'll start doing it. The main big thing you're going to see is some maintenance on this Clubman, and you're going to see the 89 painted. So in my eyes, they're two very good things, and very new things and different things for the channel. That teamed with obviously there's 2 restorations that are going on at home. So I'm going to end this video now. I feel like I ranted. I don't know how long this video is going to be. They're all the cars for Simpsons Classics. They're the ones I personally have. They're my vehicles. And there's a lot going to happen in the new year with them, and there's a lot that are going to, there's a lot I want to buy as well, if I can achieve that. So have a very, very Merry Christmas and a lovely New Year. Like I say, it's probably the last video I put out in 2023. So I want to thank you all for that. I want to thank you all for the perseverance with it, and I want to just acknowledge the fact that there's been plans in the background to make 2024 a lot better. So I will do my best with it all, guys. Right, have a very Merry Christmas. Before I go, I've got to do my plugs. We've got Minimine. There's a discount code now on the screen for 10% off on their eBay shop when they send £15 or more. So if you need any mini bits and stuff like that, go check it out. Also keep an eye on Minimine in the new year. There's some quite cool announcements coming out for them, so please go check them out for that. But for now, use the discount code that's on the screen and buy your car parts, guys, because I'll be showing quite a few of them off in the new year. So I'd like you to see what you think, and then obviously come buy them yourself. But I know loads of you viewers are regular buyers of Minimine, and it's a massive help for the channel. So go check them out, guys. Frost restoration, no banner in here because it's too big, it'll fill the walls. But obviously there's tools, consumables, and all your supply needs and stuff there, all catered for. So please go check them out as well. There's a discount code in the link in the description below for that. And also from me, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Why not just hit that button, give us a thumbs up, comment, share the video. If you go on social media and stuff like that, just share it if you find it interesting, or if you want to have a rant about something. Maybe you don't like what I'm doing. You know, I can't please everyone. But the engagement with the channel is what I love, and that's what we want for the new year. Like I say, massive plans I've just gone through. Also, I say it every year, there's merch that's been emailed off and asked for, of which I've got a few hats left. Beanie hats that are lovely. You saw me and Jack wearing them in the last Volvo Amazon video. They're really, really nice, and they're nice and comfy, nice and warm, and it's a big way to help the channel out. And I've also got stickers available as well, but the things like mugs, t-shirts, and some other bits and pieces that I'm working out in the new year, they're all be available on our website. So I hope to kind of kickstart that off with the new year as well and get that laid out for you. So that's all from me. Oh, become a channel member if you want to see some behind the scenes stuff. That'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? Why not do that? Have a lovely Christmas, guys. Eat and drink as much as you want. Life is too short, so please crack on and enjoy yourselves. And I will see you in the new year, in a new building, for a new start and loads of new projects. Stay safe, guys.